Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. Today is Wednesday, December 30th, and we are doing our regular college football call with Chris Andrews from AgainstTheNumber.com. He's going to give us his favorite selections from the final batch of bowl games with the lines that are out right now. Chris Andrews, thanks so much for being with us. Here we are, the final batch of bowl games, the big ones, the biggies. Let's see what you got. What's your first bowl game for us, Chris?
First game tomorrow morning early. I like Houston against Florida State. You know, Peter, the American Athletic Conference hasn't done all that great. And we just saw Memphis lose and not cover to Auburn.
Yeah.
But I think Houston really was the class of that conference. They lost one game on the road at Connecticut, who had a very good defense. Their quarterback also did not start that game. So I think you have a team that does have some pretty good incentive. I think Houston is one of those teams, as the Big 12 and some of these other conferences looks to expand. I think Houston is one of those teams that is in play. They signed their coach, Tom Herman, to a long-term contract, invested millions in him. I think he will really have a tremendous focus on this game. I also think he happens to have a tremendous team, particularly on offense. They can really move the ball. Florida State, I'm not sure they're quite as excited to be in this game as Houston is. And I also think Florida State has shown some flaws. They've been a little disappointing, certainly to me this year. I thought they would be much more in contention for a national championship. They've been good, not great. We're getting a full touchdown on this game. I'm going to go with Houston in that one.
I mean, in general, I think of Florida State as an overvalued team, but they did cover their last 5 games in a row of the regular season. Did you know that, Chris Andrews from AgainstTheNumber.com?
I didn't know they'd covered 5 in a row. I have the list here. I didn't realize it was 5 in a row.
That's on the closing lines, yeah.
That's obviously good, but I think part of it was that they had finally disappointed so many people and had trouble with quarterback, had suspensions at running back with some very key players. Dalvin Cook, I thought one of the best running backs in the country. But I think right now the number finally did catch up with them, and now I think it's just gone too high the other way. So I like the dog. We're getting a full touchdown in this game.
Yep.
And I think they show up and keep this one close.
Okay, fair enough. Yep, the line is Houston +7. Heritage, a book that I respect, is hanging 6.5. So they appear to have a lean towards Houston as well. What's your second game, Chris Andrews?
Well, and one of the big ones. I like Oklahoma against Clemson. I liked them earlier. Then we got the suspensions today for Clemson. I think that do nothing but kind of bolster Oklahoma's case. But really what I've looked at in this game, and I voted in one national poll, and by the end of the season, I had Oklahoma the #1 team in the country. And I'll tell you why. If you look at their first 5 games, they averaged 124 yards a game on the ground. Samaje Perine averaged 73 during those first 5 games. That includes 286 against Tulsa for Oklahoma as a team and 152 for Perine as an individual rusher. And I don't know what happened, but after the Texas game, which they lost to their arch rival, and I know they only lost by 7, but the game really wasn't even that close. They went on a tear after that. From that game forward, they averaged 300 yards a game on the ground. Perine was 132. And Baker Mayfield really got a lot of the publicity offensively for Oklahoma after that, and he deserved it. He played some terrific football. But it really was the running game that just swung everything around for Oklahoma, enabled them to protect leads, enabled the passing game to open up, and like I said, Mayfield had a tremendous season, helped them defensively. I think it helped them all the way around. I think they go into this playoff. I think they're the best team. Best team doesn't always win, of course. And Stoops has had a little bit of a checkered past as far as some of the big game coaching, but so has Dabo Swinney. And I think right now in this particular game, Oklahoma the right side. I think they beat them pretty good.
All right, 3.5 is one of the market-wide numbers right now. It is climbing up, 3.5 and 4. It's a split number right now. Chris Andrews, what's the third bowl game you'd like to bring to our attention?
Last game I'm going with is Michigan over Florida, and it's one of those games. I know the public is pretty heavily on Michigan, but I think the public has the right idea. If you look at Florida, once Greer got suspended, and of course he got suspended for a year for using illegal substances, it looks like he's going to transfer out of Florida. But Harris came in as the quarterback, and in the first couple games, They played okay, and I thought the drop-off was going to be very minimal. However, over the course of time, that Florida offense just got worse and worse. And Florida State, of course, who we just talked about, held them to 2 points in a very big, crucial game. Obviously, that's not the offense getting you 2 points either. Anyway, with Greer, Florida averaged 37.2 points a game. With Harris, it was 17.9. And even though that 17.9 is compared to 37.2 is bad, I really think if you look closely, it's even worse than that. As I said, the offense just got progressively worse under Harris. And Michigan, you look at them, listen, they had a couple of games that really could easily have gone either way. The Utah game, the first one of the season, they lost. They deserved to lose, but they probably could have won that. They only lost by 7. Of course, they lost to Michigan State in a miracle finish by State. Probably should have won that. And they did get outclassed thoroughly by Ohio State. So I think they had one really, really bad game. Other than that, they were pretty good during the course of the season. And I've been a Jim Harbaugh fan for a long time. And I think he's just a terrific coach. I think he will certainly have his team ready for this. As I said, I don't know what the peak is for Michigan. They've been a little in and out, but you see that with almost every team that's not in the Final Four playoffs. But I think they're going to be very, very tough to beat. In Florida, I think they peaked about 2 months ago, and I don't think we're seeing the best of Florida right now. I think Michigan, the right side, even though the public is largely on them.
All right, sounds good to me. I was fading Florida towards the end of the year. I did hear a sharp opinion tell me that he liked Florida at +4, but I certainly respect your opinion just as much, if not more. And Michigan -4 is Chris Andrews' recommended play. Thanks so much. Always interesting, Chris.